Today, I'm going to be taking on a very cool challenge. One close to my heart because it brings back memories of when I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Almost 20 years ago. And I'm going to be trying to make a Metalmorph deck viable. Yes, the same Metalmorph that's been used by Joey Wheeler and Bandit Keith. Now, growing up, I played a lot of bad Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Let's be real, we all did, and I was very young, I had a good excuse. And a lot of them I played just because I thought they looked cool, or for some reason they resonated with me. And the true heart of the card spirit. And one of those cards, and if I remember correctly, it's Duels of the Roses, was Zoa, and then Metal Zoa. I loved Metal Zoa, and I cannot tell you why, but those two cards, that was my back in the day. So with the release of the brand new Metal cards, I was super excited, and I was not let down when they announced a retrain of the brand new Metal Zoa X. So with a whole lot of new support to work with and make a brand new Metalmorph deck, I'm excited to make it meta. Now, before I continue with the video, if you guys enjoy this series and my content, please consider subscribing as well as commenting down below what other decks you want to see in the future. I promise week by week we will get through every deck in the game, trying to make it as powerful and as strong as possible. So your recommendations will guide me on what to do next. But with that said, let's talk about the brand new Metalmorph cards. So as much as I love Metal Zoa X, the hallmark card of the new Metalmorph theme is without a doubt the Red Eyes. And yes, my weird quirky love for Zoa is obviously overshadowed by everyone's love of Red Eyes. That makes sense, and this card is pretty good, actually. Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. It cannot be normal summoned or set, and must first be special summoned with Max Metalmorph. We'll get to that in a second. That was activated by tributing a level 5 or higher dragon monster. Now pay attention to that first summoning condition. The metal versions of all the new monsters are summoned using that clause, just differing type by type. So now your metals can be converted from anything, as long as it's the right type, into your upgraded metal monster. And that means we can mix a lot of engines together, and that'll be the basis of where this deck is built. Furthermore, this card can reveal itself in the hand to set one Metamorph trap from your deck, and then shuffle this card back into the deck. So that's actually important because the Metamorph cards themselves, or the big metal monsters, aren't good to draw, and that's the same as the old Metalmorph cards. They weren't actually good. Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, the original, for example, was a card you definitely did not want to draw. So not having that downside is nice, and whilst just searching the Metamorph trap isn't actually the greatest thing, it's not bad. It at least gives you something productive and proactive to do when drawing your garnets. That being said, let's get on to the kicker and why this card is good, beside its obvious massive stat line if you haven't already seen. And that is, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to one attack position monster your opponent controls. That's actually optional, so if your opponent doesn't control a monster, you still can negate. That's important for playing through hand traps or any spell that they activate. That effect is once per turn, but that's okay. That is just an Omni Negate with burn damage backed behind a very powerful body. But how do we summon it? It's pretty easy. If you couldn't already gather, Max Metamorph is very flexible. It attributes any face-up monster you control to special one monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, and mentions Max Metamorph from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to that monster with the following effect. So before we get on to that secondary effect, yeah, that means pretty much any level 5 or higher dragon can be turned into your Max Metamorph Red Eyes. And the equipped monster also gains 400 attack and defense extra, so your Red Eyes going up to 3,800. That is significant. It also cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects, and it cannot be targeted by your opponent's monster or spell effects. So it's actually going to be almost impervious to everything, very hard to interact with, similar to a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and also having the burn and negate effect, which is great. And unlike Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you're not going to have to play two straight up vanillas to summon it. You can only use Max Metamorph once per turn, but yeah, it's simplistic. It's giving you the same sort of protection effect the old Metamorph did, and converting your random monsters into something truly powerful. Now say we have a fiend and not a dragon. What can we do with that? Well, if you haven't guessed it, it's going to be Metal Zoa X. Now this is the one that I like, but both are cool. And like the other one, it can only be summoned in the same way, except by attributing level 5 or higher fiend, and while in the hand, can shuffle itself back to set a Metamorph trap, again, making it not a brick when you draw it. Its on-the-field effect, though, that gives it power is that twice per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect or a spell card effect, you can try to face a monster your opponent controls and destroy it. It's going to act as double removal, while also having that protection effect from Metalmorph. That's pretty good. It's obviously not insane by modern standards, but you back this up along with hand traps, other engines, and follow-up, it'll apply a lot of pressure really fast. And that's kind of the idea with this deck. It doesn't play in super combo manner, and doesn't play in a super fragile manner either. It's supposed to be hard to interact with, great at value games and really trying to go for that couple turns, mid-range type of game plan. It's not going to control for a long time, and it's not going to end the game immediately. It's going to be kind of in the middle. Couple turns, slowly grind you down, and you're dead. So those two metal monsters are going to be your main boss monsters, but they aren't the only ones. We've also got Metal Flame Swordsman, which you will never actually summon. It requires you to play warriors in your deck, and warriors right now aren't really splashable, as well as Metal Flame Swordsman effect is just the worst out of the three big ones, so we're ignoring it. However, we actually play more of this one than the others, because unlike the others, its hand effect is more flexible. Instead of getting a max Metalmorph, you can grab any card that mentions max Metalmorph instead. That includes your spell searchers, which we'll get to in a second, and your other monsters in the deck that aren't actually metal cards. They're rather built to support it, which I love when decks have more than just 3 cards in the archetype. It's awesome, isn't it? Anyways, Metal Flame Swordsman on field has the effect that each time your opponent activates a card effect against 300 attack and runs 500 damage to your opponents. If anything, it's like Red Eye's Flare Dragon, which is a Red Eyes card, not Flame Swordsman, but still, this card, I mean, it's certainly not the worst card, but yeah, this is not really what I'm focused on, and you're never summoning this. In fact, I don't think I even can legally summon this. That's a lie. I definitely can, and we'll get to that with the next card. How can you summon it, and why was I being so wishy-washy on my ability to do so? That's Metal Illusionist, a very nice card for this deck for several reasons, and that is level 1 Light Spellcaster, which increases level to 5 on your opponent's turn. This is important because it means you can Metamorph it away, and you can say, oh, what Spellcaster is there? Once per turn, you can declare any of the monster type, and it becomes the type until the end of the opponent's turn. So that means you can turn it into whatever you want. And that's how you summon Flame Swordsman, if you need to for whatever reason. But again, I don't think you ever really should, so don't think about it too much. Keep in mind, I did say it was a light. So what you can do with this is you can make it a light fiend. And with that, you get to make Requiem, Fiendsmith Requiem. And Fiendsmiths are fiend. So yeah, that turns into Metal Zoa X. And the synergy lines up really well. Alas, that's not all this card does, because otherwise you can play any, like, Link 1 or Light Fiend, it would do the same thing. Instead, what it does is on summon lets you set any Metamorph trap from your deck, and then if max Metamorph is in your grave, you can draw a card. It's fantastic because you get to set a Metamorph and then convert it into Fiendsmith cards, and that is a fantastic value trade. It feels like the Lacrima in Fiendsmith, which is yet to be out of Masterful. That card actually be a huge boost to this deck, but I digress. Metal Illusionist is a great normal summon and a card that I like a lot in this deck. And because the way I've built this deck, and you'll see when I show you the deck list, I feel like maxing out this card is actually pretty good, although I know a lot of other players have strayed away from it. That's not all though. We've also got other new cards to support, and another one is one of my favorites again, and that's another Zoa. Yeah, we got 2 Zoas. This one's not metal though. It's Zoa the Fiendish Beast. If your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon it without attributing, although I don't think I've ever really done that. Instead, what you're doing is, if it's in your hand, you can just special summon it in defense mode. Yeah, like normal summon it. And then if max Metamorph is not in your grave, your opponent can summon 1 monster from their hand, which in most cases in your turn 1 isn't even a huge deal. And like with Engraver popping, who cares? If they summon a monster that doesn't do something immediately, you'll just pop it and it'll be free for you, if anything. This is nice though because it gives you a body, but then during your main phase, you can set a Metamorph trap from your deck. So this is a 1 card Metal Zoa X without normal summoning. That's great, but you can also use it to link into other stuff, get you extra traps, eat hand traps. It's just a good card in general. It's also 2600 attack, so it can apply pressure on its own when you get into these grindy hand trap game states. And that does happen when your deck contains an excess number of hand traps, and this does. It's in a lot of hand traps in this deck. And then lastly, there is one other metal card to talk about, and that is Red Eye's Metal Claws Dragon. So this is not really a metal card, but or like metal upgrade. Instead, it is something that helps you play faster on turn 1. So this is a card you're going to be using when you draw a lot of metal cards together, give you some speed, because otherwise relying on trap cards to play is kind of poo. It is Red Eyes though, which is important because we can search it with Red Eye support cards. Still, what it does is, it says, first line, you can activate Metamorph traps the turn they're set. That makes sense why I'm saying it'll play faster. Let's use traps straight away, and you can summon your Red Eyes on top of this instantly, and that's obviously huge because now it means you want to play through Nibiru or other hand traps. You can. Furthermore, you can send a face down card you control to the grave, special summon from the hand. So that's how you're summoning it. Kind of like a weird version of Red MD. You're going to send the Metamorph to summon it, or any other face down card, but typically it's max Metamorph, because then if it's summoned and you have Metamorph in your graveyard, you can add a Metamorph trap from your deck, graveyard, your hand. So the idea here is you just add back the Metamorph you sent. Now you can set it. So it does require you to already be going in some capacity to get it online, and doesn't generate advantage immediately, but it's more about tempo. And when you have a lot of the Metamorph cards, it is pretty useful. As well as you can get a Metamorph in the grave fast on turn 1, so you get the extra draw off your Metal Illusionist. Now, there are a few other metal cards, spells and traps specifically, that round up the theme, and for the most part, I actually think they suck. So I'm only talking about the one last card I play, and that is Incoming Machine. Now, being Bandicoot support as well, I really thought it'd be funny if Konami went the route of saying you can add a Metalmorph card from your side deck to your hand, because I know that's like cheating, but the whole, and breaks the game mechanics, but the whole point is like, yeah, Bandicoot hides it up his sleeve, and it's legal. It breaks the rules of the game. I thought it'd be a hilarious lore drop. It does not do that. What it does is it adds a max Metalmorph or Metalmorph trap or monster that mentions it from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So very just normal search card. And then if it's in your graveyard and you control Metalmorph trap, you can banish your target defensive monster when it controls and put it in attack. And that's not super important, but in some game states it could, especially for lethal. And the deck does do burn damage, so keeping track of life points and your choke points for doing lethal is actually a little more relevant in this deck. That being said, that's the strategy. It is, if not completely obvious, not something you can play by itself. There is like 2 starter cards in the deck. I guess this is the road. There's 3 starter cards, but the capacity for plays is incredibly low. Ability to play into fields incredibly low, so you cannot play it by itself. However, its immense flexibility makes it a perfect candidate to mix with 2 other very flexible and strong themes. Let me show you with the deck list. All right, so here's the deck, and it is 60 cards, so bear with me, but it is Bestial, Fiendsmith, Metalmorph. Now, Metalmorph does take main spotlight on the stage here. It's not an afterthought in this deck. As you can see, I've put a lot of them in here, but that's okay. I do want to draw them. Still, the rest of the deck shouldn't make a lot of sense. Now, the reason to play Bestials is they're good as hand traps to force the slow game we're looking for, as well as there's 6s, make rank 6s with Fiendsmiths, and they convert as level 5 or higher dragons with Metalmorph into your metal red eyes. And what's cool with Jewess Worm is if you send the Jewess Worm off on their turn, like you banish their Fiendsmith, for example, for Jewess Worm, and then send it off for red eyes, then you get to trigger the sand effect on Jewess Worm, and you have the Omni Negate up that's untargetable. It becomes a huge swing in power that's actually really strong. So a big fan of the Bestials in this deck. And then Fiendsmith cards also should be pretty obvious, as the Fiendsmith cards are fiends. They're good in a grind game. The deck doesn't build itself per se, because it is different things mixed together, but they all try and accomplish the same things, so it does flow rather conveniently. Now, the only other engine that's in here is a small Red Eyes package, and again, that makes a lot of intuitive sense, more so than the others, to be honest, because Black Metal Dragon can add your Red Eyes Metal Claw Dragon or your Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, giving you access to whatever you need. Of course, it can also add the old, but still very powerful, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which I guess is still a metal card, so it does line up very well. And this card's fantastic for being extension, reviving Black Metal Dragon, and soul searching again, and building up into either Heretic Seal or Fiendsmith cards in this case. And because this extra deck is so open, you're pretty much just playing the Bestial Fiendsmith extra deck. Metal cards are incredibly like unassuming in that perspective. Nothing you need in the extra deck will really impact them. So that's the deck, and I think it's incredibly compact. It's very consistent, even though 60 cards to dilute drawing some of the worst cards, as well as to give you just a lot of engine in there, a lot of capabilities, so you don't run out of gas. Because I don't want to draw multiple Metamorphs like ever really, because I'm searching them as well. But I still want to be able to play 3 so that I can play a long game. I tried with 2, and you can get away with 2. But there are some games where you'll be kind of running out of resources, and you have to rely on your other engines to get there. That's not always the best. You do want the Metamorph cards to do the heavy lifting in these grindy game states, because the untargetable huge beat sticks that do burn damage and pop cards, in those grinding game states, they're nuts. But with that said, let me show you guys the deck in action. Let's duel. Okay, we have won the roll on our first matchup against YA Rise. Hand here looks phenomenal. 60 card mirror. All right, I'm hoping they just don't leave, because our hand is stonks. Oh god, I feel dirty saying that. The only real answer to this will be, I guess, Droll, Fuwa, and Maxi all would be pretty good. Droll is something I should be able to manage around. So how do I play around Droll best? No, this is probably the best in the Droll. Get me Jewess Worm, and then if I get Drolled, I have 2 Bestials plus a Nib to hold off the invasion. Yeah, and that'll check. Obviously, this gets interacted with. Otherwise, I do not care. Yeah, Jewess Worm, cool. Seems like I'm good to go. Next up, playing around Maxi and Fuwa. This is probably the best because this gives them immediate draws. It plays more into Bestials if I use this later. But if it gets negated or like Bestial, it's not actually Underworld. I have plenty of Bestial targets later on. Yeah, looks like there's no interaction, so I'm free to kind of chill. Let's get the red MD. And this will let me turn on my Lubellion as well, which is awesome. Use the effects. I only have one metal card here, so it's not going to be a hand where I get the metal claws, red eyes. I'm gonna get the full black metal. Some hands you go for the full for the metal claws when you want to use your trap immediately. Obviously, for me to do that, I know I can't even do it anyways. There's no way for me. I'm not even do it if I wanted to. So yeah, definitely not doing that. The question is here. I'm gonna check for Lurie. I'm honestly concerned he'll just quit if I do this, but yeah. All right, seems to be resolving. Just ditch the Lurie. Lurie effect, cool, awesome. So I can make Requiem. This will be searching a full black metal dragon almost surely. What do I do with the rest of these cards? I don't think I have enough light fiends to go for Desiree. Desiree is very good versus 60 card decks because I'm playing around grass in theory, but my deck's actually not grassable. I'm not gonna have that few cards in deck. I should have most there. There's a way for me to trigger regain and draw. That'd be nice. I don't think there is. I could have been a cool play where if I hadn't done this yet, I could have gone M7, add back black metal, then equip it to the remedy on the field, link it off, and search again. That's actually how I could have gotten 2 searches in one turn, and then done the multiple metamorphs. But nah, that's not happening. Still, I think it's gonna be like an IP Caesar line, so I'll press forward to that. Black metal will get to search. Grab the full metal, then effective fuse. All right, so let's make our sequence. Desiree here wouldn't be bad, as I said, but yeah, I'd rather keep the follow-up engrave with engraver. I think it is overall better. This effect to revive now. I'm not gonna have back to hand. Actually, I guess I can't. I'm gonna summon the mag here to make what's it called? I think. To make IP, yeah. I'm gonna banish the red MD so I can get it back again if I draw Black Metal Dragon. Yeah, that makes sense. And obviously I don't mind summoning Magnemite here because I get another Bestial, a Baldrake in fact. Then it gets put in the graves to regain, gets the trigger. Yeah, this makes the most sense for sure. To search off this, I don't care if it's dashed. 2 Bestial should be plenty. Draw Metalmorph, that's fine. No problem with that. 2 Black Metal, cool. So let's follow up. Yep, let's do this. Get max Metalmorph. And then IP. So yeah, this deck's end boards don't look crazy, but like let's look at what's here. I have the 2 negates off this. I have the IP into SP, which is 2 more interrupts, and then I have the 2 Bestials, and then the send off the Bestial, the Baldrake banish. So it's like 2 more interrupts, 6 Metamorph, 7 is it? The Nib 8. Like I'm feeling good, and I have good follow up. I have Black Metal, I have the regain draw, I have the Magnemite revive, and all this generates bodies at the same time. I have engraver. So yeah, this is actually just very comfortable for me, and I'm not weak to grass. Yeah, I'm gonna have 49 in deck. Yeah, like grass is not a problem. And if you start milling or using things remotely early on, then quickly grass will be for 0. So I don't have to worry about like draw phase, summon red eyes, full metal to just shut it off. I'll chill. I think the card I'm more scared of is talents, because on my Caesar it would be kind of dirty. But all right, Book of Eclipse to start it off. I'm not going to chain. That doesn't really alleviate the talents problem because they could still like talents later and flip it up. But I have a little bit of leeway on it. Okay, I'm gonna chain this. This is actually gross. Yeah, I'm gonna chain this now. Force the DPE immediately. Get it off the field. This is probably heroes. So yeah, let's summon SP. SP will check the DPE, and he can't DPE pop the SP, which is nice either. So if it forces battle phase from him, that'll be awesome. Using Mally from hand. Interesting choice. Alright, so now I get to use both of these. I'm going to go Chain Link 1 regained. Target Magnemite. And then Chain 2 SP. So if he gets ogred, he can't be killed by a card effect anyway. I'm going to actually target a banish the Mally here. Rip apart his other follow-up. And if he doesn't chain the DPE here, then this will still pin it down. So he has to do this. And then I don't want him popping this. So this clears off the other card in his field. So this will stop both. This means I will have to deal with it on my next turn, but I'm pretty confident I can beat a DPE. Now to play around talents, I'm going to use the Max Metalmorph immediately. Yeah. Oh wait, I don't have to deal with the DPE straight away. I forgot. Oh, I love regained. Put back the DPE. Magnet effect. And now I'm going to chain the Metamorph trap so I don't draw the thing. If I draw it, I can still summon from hand, but I'd rather not, obviously. Now if he has talents, I can negate at least one of them. And yeah, I feel really good about this. Cool. So now I get out the Max Metalmorph, or the full black metal. It's equipped. For some reason, it's optional to equip. I do not see a world where you'd click no, equip it, and then draw a card. Oh, well, all right. Got both of them, I guess. It's fine. I feel very comfortable here. E-Call is okay. I don't mind him running his normal summon. So he can always use this Denier to get back in the game. What are the conditions on this again? If a Destiny Hero monster is on the field or in your grave. Oh, he actually cannot summon it right now, which means he might be locked out. I'm going to hold this for the Ferris to keep it in his hand, I think. I'm not worried about Denier, though, because yeah, these will come down shortly after as well. Okay, so when I get the Ferris, I have one in hand, and then I'll have Bestials. Discarding Plasma. Okay, so I'm going to negate that, even with just one in hand. And I'm going to chain Baldrake to hit the Denier. It has a toggle. Okay, so it might be Eclipse again or Droplet. It doesn't really matter to me. We'll chain Baldrake, which knows we have. Hit the Denier so it cannot be used on the Revived Mally. I don't think it matters too much, but still this should lock him out just the one card into Nib, Druid Worm, and the Baldrake on field effect. While having to still deal with our follow-up from Engraver, our follow-up in hand, our Magnum wants to follow up here. Yeah, this game is over. As much as our opponent wants to be a hero, ain't no coming back from this, mate. On cue, concede. Yeah. At least we got to show us the potential here, and that's the thing. The field looks non-threatening when you compare it to the best decks of the meta, like Snake Eye, but don't be fooled. When you get to this position, the game is almost certainly over either way. This is plenty of disruption. Like, that's why I said the hand looks so good, because like, I drew strong pieces of every engine, and it comes together like that. That game is a complete wash. It was not even close. And their hand wasn't even bad. It was your Destiny, E-Call, Eclipse. I mean, maybe not brilliant, but the hand wasn't bad, and it was a complete wash. So, yeah, cool. All right, we have lost the roll up against iFloof, and I'm looking all right. They got a bestial looking sleeves. Oh, they're going with Kashtira. They're on a 40 card deck. They might be playing Bestial Fiendsmith, which is with Kashtira cards, which is honestly pretty similar to what we're playing. No, they're playing Kashtira. Okay, this Sarnier is not going to help. Okay, that's where I'm going to Veiler. Let them use the effect, obviously, first. I have to hope that they don't have Theosis or Birth, but knowing Kashtira, they always have something. Arise Heart is difficult for this deck to out. There's no... Okay, so they use Call by the Grave, targeting Veiler. And thankfully, we have the secret out to it. So a lot of people forget this. And that is, Call by the Grave on a light or dark when if a monster in field means you can just dodge it. And they obviously need this. They have Ogre in hand. They have 2 unknowns. This might just end the game on the spot. Now, I'd like this to not be a game where they just insta-concede, but this should hurt them. Yeah, so they're going to have the Unicorn Rip, which means the Fiends of the cards will likely be offline. That's okay. No toggle on the Sarnier means no Ash. I mean, not Ash, no Maxi. Which is great, because I do have this. He already has Theosis. Okay, so he did not really need this to resolve, which is crazy. I don't know why he called by that even. I'd hold the call by for Ash, if anything. He played not good, but oh well. Because if I had Ash there on the Theosis, kind of just fell apart. Unless he has Rise Hard in hand, but given by this chain of events, I don't. The field spell searching Ogre also kind of didn't make much sense, but yeah, I don't know. Banish, it's going to make a, what's it called? Banish, Big Bang. Banish on my end, nothing important. Make a Rise Heart. A Rise Heart does have the Banish effect with 1 material on it. It's kind of a nuisance right now. Having this body up is helpful. I'm not gonna lie. Let's make it a little easier. Set a card I don't like to see. All right, let's power through this. Let's try power through this. Draw tract is very much not helpful. I only really have one live card, which is part of the problem. Normal summon, see what he does. If I go Striker Dragon, goes to 4 materials, and banishes, goes into 2. In theory, that works. I can special summon. I must know what the hell. I can't use that, I thought. So yeah, I go Striker Dragon here. This should force it out. Otherwise, SP does beat it. Attach, banish a card. They get to attach one of the Big Bang, right? Yeah. This is so rough. Let it resolve, though. Okay. I mean, if it's imperm face down, I do just lose, but can't play around it. I can't afford to. Yeah, so effective attach. Use. It's responding to this, and make sure I'm using the right effect. But yeah, I'll target this. Don't have imperm, please, I guess. Chain to banish, yeah. So if that's prep still, then if that's Kashtira prep, I also am struggling, but yeah. At least they'd have nothing left in theory. I'm not going to chain it, very obviously. I don't want this to come back. If he chains, no. If he chains imperm, I'd have to chain it, but yeah, no. Otherwise, I'm not. But that should get banished. So they have a toggle here, so it could be. Oh, it is imperm. They were hoping I'd chain to dodge, and then they'd be able to beat all of it. I will not let that happen, so I will chain here the SP. They should have impermed it, I think, right? No, because then this is probably their best solution. Because it beats me if I misplay. And if it doesn't, it means their shit comes back. But okay, I actually am fine with this. I do have the ability to make a field, and that will have no materials when it comes back. Last card in hand is Ogre, so I'm actually fine. I thought maybe I was in a worse spot, but no, I'm actually okay. Alright, so let's grab from this mag, obviously. I'll follow it up with Tract. And I actually don't think we need metal cards here. This is where the rest of the deck just shines. I think he's just dead. Because, no, SP... I can't remember. What's the rule in SP? Can we attack directly? Because it didn't banish. I think I can't attack directly. Oh well. I'll go for the field. If I could attack directly and I miss lethal because of it, then my own fault, I guess, but yeah. Oh, actually in a weird position where I don't have many Light Fiends to go for. Or many Lighter Darks to banish off Magnum, but I'm wondering, what do I go from here? Wish I had another Engraver instead of the Tract, but be like that sometimes. Which card do I want to end on? Probably the Red Eyes I want to end on. Can I do that in a good fashion? Surely I can. Alright, let's banish the Lurry. And get it back off Lacrima, in theory. This feels gross. I don't know. Effects. And summon back this. And then, yeah, effect to place regained. Which will be nice. Damage-wise, is it just going to have to be equip this and attack? And we'll see if I can attack or not. I actually don't know. Battle phase. I should know this ruling. I can't attack. Alright, cool. So, I can use the card I want to tribute off this. I can make it a card that I off the Bistral that I have. I'm getting and face off mag. But the problem with that... Is there a problem with that? And triggers a Rise Heart, but I don't quite care. Not really. One trigger is not the big of a deal. If I go for Metal Zoa, the Rise Heart is forced to trigger. Ooh, that's cool. Doesn't make anything though. Then what are my interrupts then if I do that? It's just nothing. My cards don't do anything because I can't IP into anything. There's no SP left to IP into. Unless I regained back my SP when I use its effect and I make it off SP, that would be hilarious. I'm gonna do that. Nah, because then it gets banished. No. I'm just gonna sequence to. It all sucks. It gets banished either way. Yeah, it's gonna be sequence. And then instead of using the effect, what if I revive this, make Lacrima? That's the only way to keep Engraver in rotation. I think that's what I have to do. Okay. I think I see the line. This feels incredibly wrong, but alas, that is what I must do. Effect diffuse. Here, this and this. Effects. I may as well bring back the Lurry, right? Special it? I guess. No. I don't. I guess I can save it for next turn. Activate. Set this. And then what's in here? Requiem? Yeah, not doing that. End phase. Mag search for it doesn't matter. And then oh, should have been Baldrake actually. Should have been Baldrake. Yeah, because that would have been extra interrupt. Okay, let's get rid of the Lubellion. Put it back, and then I can draw a card. And then you can attach something. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's follow up. Cool. And now I can SP banish this, but I think the Metal Zoe actually is really good. So I'm going to shotgun this. I'm going to max Metalmorph, tribute the Lacrima. We're going to special summon Metal Zoe from the deck. That's going to trigger by mandatory. Equip a card, yes. So it's going to be really hard for him to out already. Regained effect on Lacrima? Yes. Do you want? No. I need to chain this. I need to chain this. Need to chain this to pop this. And good riddance. He'll have an Ogre in hand, which if he uses the effects, will blow it up for free. And yeah, I feel good about this. I have one top deck in this position. Maybe with the one top deck, the Flare Metal actually would have been better, but this should be no problem. Yeah, Revive Mag. This is an entirely lost game spot for them, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what card would remotely save them. I have a Toggle. Okay, so Droplets? Call by? I don't know. Could draw a Scareclaw Cash as well. I guess that works. Turns on, what's it called? Fenrir? Or Theosis, Epic Fenrir? I mean, it's not enough. No effect. Yeah, sure. Great. Bye, SP. You'll be missed. But now Engraver's live again. So my Lacrima's gone, which is like the only downside here. But yeah, it's not banished anymore, this. So now if he has, what's it called? It doesn't matter. So I'm not going to do anything. In case he has Theosis. Oh, I know it's a chainable. I guess prep doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care about prep. It's Ogre. This makes Baron. Okay, I can't target this though. I can target this. That's fine. Ogre was the chainable. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this should be game over. Prep for Fenrir is a little annoying, but yeah. So target this. I'll chain, which will force it out. Then I have no negate left. Or if he doesn't target that, then that's fine. And keep in mind that if I chain it to the effect to destroy this, then this will still be equipped at that point, which means it can't destroy monster effects. So it actually won't die. Yes, this will die at the end of the chain because this will still pop it, but it means that come back to the next turn, this will be live again. This negate will be gone. So leave him with only the Fenrir Interrupt to my 3 monsters in the field plus follow-up of this. These follow-up and the Engraver Engrave. So yeah. I don't have Lacrima live, but I do have Requiem into Desiree. And yeah, this one should be a wash. I'm not sure what the correct line was on my turn 1. Regain. Alright. I'm still going to do this because it's free. But I'm happy how it turned out. It was definitely debatable though. Yeah, so see here, it will stop the negation, but we will be protected by the Metalmorph. Yep, there we go. It's fine. And then we lose that. And then negate's gone. It's one spell face up on the field, so we won't have to worry about that. It can tag out in the standby phase to revive something. Oh, Typhon. Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. Everyone's favorite insta-loss. It can't activate because it stops 3,000 attack monsters. And this is 3. It gives it 100 attack bonus because they're all dark. Alright, that was actually a very interesting game with a lot of like small micro interactions that are rare all together. Bestial control, man. And I guess the Metalmorph cards did help there, obviously. I just didn't draw that many of them. That being said, Metal Zoa X, you see when it gets to the field, those metal cards, they dominate, especially because usually when they hit the field, it's a grind game like that. They go hard. So yeah. Okay. Going second up against our lovely Labyrinth friend over here. And here is just Bestial Control, but it's okay. By design, right? This deck does play a lot of generic cards, and I have no problem with that. That's kind of ideal, right? Where you draw like one Metalmorph card and then this type of hand. Like if you could replace one of these talents in the Metalmorph, not a Metalmorph specifically, but like Illusionist, that'd be awesome. All right, cool. 2 sets. One of them was Big Welcome. I think I didn't look. Yeah, it's Big Welcome. I did roll back. I wasn't paying attention. Blurry. That was a bad draw. Not helpful. Not helpful indeed. Let's threaten out this because I'd like to get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Chain Maxi. Don't like that. Obviously. This is going to be an uphill battle. Maxi is rough, and they will get value from Big Welcome. I'm happy that Stovey Torby is gone, though. I'll get my 2 draws off this, and the rest is going to have to be kind of a slow game. Metalmorph here would be fantastic. Cool. Okay, again, I did not mean Metalmorph. I meant like a card that searches it. Illusionist would have been better, but Beggar, I mean, I got what I wanted. This is fine. Am I going to set bluffs alongside it is the question? And do I summon a Black Metal Dragon anyways for damage / for float effect? I already have normal summon in theory with Tract. I think yes. It's fine to normal summon this. That'll push damage because it may end up mattering. Okay, so they may go for the Lovely doesn't make sense unless they have Welcome also set. No, so we're gonna block the damage here, which I'm cool with. Yeah, block the damage, sure. I can't target out this. The only concern with this that I have is that I can't chain Saronir to dodge a trap being set off this, which right now doesn't matter because you get a draw anyways off the Maxi. The option I have is the Tract to put something in Grave or Link, and both seem really bad, so I'm not going to do that. Now that the threat of Lovely is kind of gone, I'm going to set this. One thing that does suck about this interaction is for some reason this is a normal trap, even though it equips, it's not a continuous. You can kind of see, so it means that we'll trigger this effect as set, which is not great. I'm going to try to do it on a turn where it's already active. There still is a chance Lovely comes down because they can transaction rollback. But that'd be fairly pricey. I don't expect it to happen this turn. I expect them to hold that interaction, if anything. So I'm going to set just the 1. And I'm going to pass. Okay, that is chainable. Oh, it could be rollback still. The toggle doesn't mean anything. I'm going to pass here. I think that's correct. End phase, we'll see if they have... If it's like Trap Trick, it's pretty bad. Black Goat Laughs. It's not the end of the world. They're trading a 1-for-1. It's not actually good for them to use that card. If this card was generating value itself, then I'd be a lot more concerned because then it's this value, like a normal value plus the trap. But in this case, it's just activating to search, which, yes, is still good for them, but it's not nearly as good. If I knew they were going to burn a card like that, then I would have given them a draw for Saronir. Yeah. Ooh, fancy. Royal. Obviously, this card is still good on the graveyard, so I mustn't forget about it, but this is fine. I guess it is a bit annoying with Max Metalmorph that... they can call Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, and that'd be kind of lame. Okay, so they can answer the Juice Worm immediately if they want to, which would be a little pooey for me. Yeah. So that also means Max Metalmorph doesn't do anything. That aspect I am not fond of. And if I use it now, I guess to chain this, then Black Goat Laugh just turns it off. But it's going to be live anyways is the problem. So I'm going to use this now. This could be a mistake. I'm not certain that it's correct. Yeah, so it's a set new trap. And nothing there. So what do they want to set off this? Probably get defensive cards now. Oh, I was going to guess Daruma. Punishment? Sure. Okay. So let's get this out. It's rough that this doesn't protect from traps either, so it can't target with punishment. Lovely Labyrinth, though, it'll be protected from. Big Welcome, they can do it as well. That is a bit of a nuisance. Should have happened. Yep, so I'm going to eat 2400 here. It's half this way. Now, what am I going to add off this is the question. Because there's a merit to not adding Red MD, but the full metal one here. Because it gets me Max Metalmorph back, and I can kind of be aggressive with it. I kind of like that. Red MD is very good because I can also get the Black Metal Dragon back and then get this. So it depends if I think I can stick this. And I don't know if I can, especially with punishment. So I'm going to go for this because it gets me immediate value in the sense of I can use it straight away to set a card. Although it forces me to trade away one of these. That makes sense. That's not a big deal considering I have freaking Lurie in hand. The track is pretty shit. So let's grab... I'm going to grab the Metal Claws. And we'll proceed from there. Now the idea here is this should eat up 2 interaction points. Welcome Labyrinth. So if he big welcomes here, I'm okay with that. Like, I know this is bait, but I think this is fine. Like, so this forces him to use multiple cards on the red eyes, which is what I was going for, to kind of get back in the game and slow down their tempo. Inflict damage, yes, because this will add up. 3,000 is a lot, and this is why our opponent blocking the damage last turn is important, and why in the deck profile I mentioned people paying attention to life points matters. They're going down to 25. That is now in range where if I can get this back on the field later, it'll stun lock them to the point where if they don't play around it, they'll lose immediately. Unfortunately, it does require the opponent's monster to be in attack mode, so they put things in defense. It gets a little shaky, but yeah, that's what they go for. This isn't actually the end of the world, though, because if they go Lovely here, they can't pop this. Remember, it's a monster effect that pops. If they go to pop Metamorph, that's fine, because that means this lives, and they still have to use one more card to answer it. So this rollback doesn't actually deal with the threat. It does let them reset a card, though, which is actually the bigger concern here. Yeah, if ideally I get that card in the grave as well, I can bestial it away and then not have to deal with the rest of the game. That'd be cool. If they try pop this, they'll be in for a rough surprise. Yeah, reading people, hard. So that play essentially did nothing for them, which is fantastic. I mean, they got this on the field. It definitely wouldn't have been crazy either way, but getting a card out of my hand could have been bad. Specifically the talents, I'm looking forward to do a lot of work. With them so low, my win condition with their shit in attack mode is stick metal and win with it. Let me said Black Goat Laughs should check it on the next turn. And they're gonna bounce it here. Okay, but that's fine because again I can use the hand effect to get the Metamorph, and then there's claws here. You can get it again. Black Goat will have to be used prematurely on the what's it called? Oh, it's still battle phase. I, however, am not as worried about damage, so I'm gonna let this fly. Okay. So rollback is gone, and that comes in defense. That's fine. And the big weapon grave is gone. That's phenomenal news. This means what this sets isn't actually that important. If they call Blackout Laughs, then okay. I'll be okay. Actually, I guess it's important to note the while Lovely's on field, I can't respond to traps on the field with monster effects, which means I actually can't use my negate off this on a trap card like punishment. So I have to try and bait the punishment first. Betting welcome is cool, no problem there. Let's see if they have anything else to set. They do one card off Maxi, one for turn, yeah. So they should probably have one still in hand afterwards. The card that was there before. They do 2 other traps. I mean, they're playing a trap deck, so it's not that surprising. And this is where it starts to look daunting again. Here, we were never in the clear, not truly. Aldrake is, I mean, I have to be okay. Let's start off with this. Because we can, like, if they don't use stuff early, we can get value off of, what's it called? This is, like, if we get the engraver already, we can pop this, then bestial it. That'd be awesome. And then send the tract for this. But if they do this first, it turns on talents, which is important. Talents is going to help us a lot. Is there a worldwide talents? I take this, actually, because that threatens this. For the draw. Interesting. I hope they don't rip it, though. If they rip this, that'll be very sad. Taking Lovely feels good, though, as well, because we get to reset Metalmorph. Ooh, both are good. Both are good. I think Talents Take, though, is the play, though, because both of these are pretty important for them. Don't hit the... I don't know why I even wasted time thinking about it. Unfortunate. So I can track for Engraver, and it will be live. So I'm wondering if I want to, like, I don't like doing this. I'm sending a Metamorph. I want the Metamorph to be live immediately as I summon this. That way, if he has something to chain to this, I can chain the Metamorph. I guess I should set this anyways. It has no purpose in my hand. I should get this into the deck. But Fiendsmiths also sound good, though, is the problem. My punishment's gone, so I no longer know what he has. And Fiendsmith cards sound good, though. There's no way Fiendsmith cards stick. I don't know. I don't know if these will either, though, to be fair. I'm going to use Tract. God, that Talent's Rip was so rough. That was for sure the best card in my hand. Now we're using Graver. Throw back that Lurry. Yeah. So see if anything else happens here. Otherwise we get to go into Requiem. Cool. So we get to press forward a little bit. Okay, nothing here. His traps are going to be precious to him, right? We don't know what else he has yet, but this has been used. No big welcome at Grave. Graver should be in defense? Yeah. Well, I'm 7V of use to me here, is a question. If we get that far. I think we will. Still, we'll see if this causes interaction. If I knew he was wrong a second Bishop, I'll probably go Red MD, but hard to know, obviously. Alright, this will out that. Chain welcome, so I can't respond. It'll bring that out. I mean, that makes sense. But that now means I can bestial the shit out of this, which I am very much eager to do. Because that's the card that lets him snowball. I guess Lady does too, but it's not as bad as Lovely. Obviously, ripping the talents was pretty devastating. And Perm. Yeah. Oriana. Okay. Oriana search. No, is there anything that could search that can punish me? I don't think so. Block. Okay, so they can now use that imperm immediately, which is fine. Right? Or my issue with this, he changed Cluecock and then he imperms this, and then I don't have any Metalmorphs live. How many Life Fiends in my grave? 3. Alright, I have to go faster. Let's target the Lovely. Maybe I'm supposed to use Baldrake there in case he has big welcome. Then I chain another Bristol. But yeah, Dominus Impulse. There's a trap in his grave, so we'll die. That's fine. That's the card that in his hand. It's a good card. That shouldn't trigger this, right? Only pop, only triggers, leaves the field. Yeah, that's fine. So that won't trigger the Ariana, which is good by me. So let's send from deck to grave Rebellion. They do care about that, clearly. So let's go after it again. Let's try to get rid of the Lovely this time. I guess it wasn't the end of the world that I drew it. I guess if I'm playing around Daruma, I should attack this first. That way Rebellion is still alive afterwards. I'm never going to be able to go for game here. That's reality. That's not happening. Let's kill that. Cool. I mean, phase 2, we'll go for Rebellion, which hopefully will claw back some advantage that I've lost this turn because we've lost a lot of cards. Just thinking here. All right, Trap Trick is okay, it's going to lock him out of traps for the rest of the turn. Do they have space to play Cannon as well? That would suck. Daruma Cannon. That's not their Cannon I was expecting, but okay. Sure. So the Imperm is now dead, which is important. Which means I can use this immediately. I'm going to send off Fiendsmith, because it's going to be harder for him to kill. And yeah, I mean, that should be pretty good. And I have Metamorph and Grave, so I can get it out. Effective set. Let's get it from the graveyard. And that's not live, so let's use this right away. Get out the red eyes. Equip, yes. Alright. Oh, and yeah, he clue clocked any. He trap tricked anyways. He couldn't have used any more traps if he wanted to. Alright, very close game state, but I'm happy with I'm happy-ish where we are. And I have Engraver and Grave as well, which is nice. Maybe I should have kept the Engraver for no, it wouldn't matter. It has to be face up anyways. The Engraver being face down is definitely worse than Rebellion, because this can't be attacked over by Lovely. Or Lady, I mean. And he's gonna have a lot of his best ways to remove my cards gone. He also impulse from hand, which is important. So I have to remember he can't use fire No, he can't use fire. He can't use earth, light, wind. So Maxi's gone. Yeah, that's all this deck has. Just Maxi. And it'd be nice if he draws that, but yeah. He flips this to attack mode, and this is immediately now a threat to kill him. He has to be careful. You should not have done this. You should have gone Black Outlast first, calling this shit, and then I can't burn him. Now if he was Black Outlast, I go Chain, and I guess he just imperms. I wish I could distribute this and then summon something random to the dodge the imperm. That'd be a nice trade though. That would trade 2 cards for 1. That good actually, because then he gets to set off this still. Gets to clock. The clock doesn't do that much though, because Lovely's gone. I still do it though, because it trades this and this. I do want to eat the imperm. If I don't do it now, I don't get a chance to ever. This is I can't activate it, right? Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it now anyways. They're typing in the right card, because if they call the wrong card off this, they just lose the game. Yeah, I wish this protected from trap targeting. It would be so good, but alas, not there. Thinking here, I don't know what there's to think about. They have one option. Yeah, red ice, black claw, metal. I will chain, as is my prerogative. They will imperm with the quickness I can only imagine. What? That's why we read our cards. 1, 2, 3, click. Yes, I would. You are finished. I almost wish they didn't do that, because that game was extremely close. I wanted to show outplaying with the deck, but it was still a good game until that point. I'm very curious why they did that in that order. That made no sense. They obviously just did not read my card properly, but they looked at it for so long. That's masterful. Sorry, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are never meeting the can read allocations. But alright guys, that is the Metalmorph deck, a deck that I've been enjoying a lot. Because it's a 60 card deck and can play out so many different game states so differently, you didn't get to experience the full breadth of gameplay that can really happen in this deck. And if you want to see more, make sure you check out my VOD channel, also my highlight channel, where you can see me play this deck, because I've played it quite a bit, and I probably will keep on playing quite a bit, as it's one that I like. And we can show off some of the cooler combos when you draw more Metalmorph cards and you go first, because I never got to go first with like multiple of them. But yeah, hopefully you got a good idea of what this deck is capable of and an appreciation for the Metalmorph cards, because yes, while Bestial and Fiendsmith were very good in those games, the Metalmorph cards did a lot as well. Black Flame Dragon there and Metal Zoa both put up a lot of work in all of the games. I just didn't get to show off the Zoa or the Illusionist combos, which are very cool as well, and you can see those in those highlights. But that said, guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.